folks, welcome back to another video. You've joined me just about to leave the house to do today's video, but the postie came and brought me some bits and pieces, so I just thought before I go I'd share with you what he brought to me. It's always exciting, isn't it, getting stuff in the mail. Firstly, some stuff from Decathlon. These gloves, I've used these gloves for quite a few years now. They're called Sprint 2 gloves by Simmond. They're one of those bits of kit that is a bit of a bargain, £25 or thereabouts, but actually outperforms some really expensive kit. My last pair stayed like waterproof for longer than most other gloves do. They lasted so well, the leather lasted ages, even though I'm using them on rope and rock a lot. I lost them. Sadly, I must have left them at the crag somewhere, but I've bought another pair of those. I think I'm going to do a video on soon is, excuse the rustling, these waterproof trousers. These ones, nice blue colour with orange bits, excuse the shaky GoPro. Again by Simmond. I'm not sure what they were called, let me have a quick look. No, don't know, but £90. Are they going to be any good? First impressions, having had a quick look, yeah, I'm a bit dubious actually, but we'll see. I've got quite a lot of ML work coming up, and just even climbing work. It's a bit damp in Wales in October, so I'm sure they'll get a good going over. So once I've used them a bit, I'll do a bit of a review, but 90 quid, worth a punt, I reckon. The other thing that came is a little delivery from one of our channel supporters outside. I'm just stocking up on a few things before going to Spain in the not too distant future. Gree, it's the newest one, which is, it's not that new now, but it's just called the Gree. It's got this little blocker bit. It's hard to do this one-handed. Where my thumb is, that stops the rope flicking in between the handle and the device. Maybe I'll feature that in a video at some point. Something else I really like is the Petzl Spirit. Sadly, every now and then I'll just leave one or two at a crag or something, or in a route and forget to get it out or something. So every now and then I need to stock up again. So just a few of them. Some of my favourite rock shoes, the Squamers. I've got a pair on the go already, but I just wanted a new pair ready for Spain to take over with me. I just don't expect I'll wear them before, maybe just to wear them in at the climbing wall or something. The other thing that came is a pair of Solutions as well. These things are absolute weapons. Same again though, I'll wear them in at the wall maybe, but won't be using them until Spain. Today's video, sorry for having to share that with you, it's just exciting to get new stuff, isn't it? Today's video is a question I get asked loads. Here in the UK especially, we use the rope loads for building belays. And the question I often get asked is, what do you do with your second when they come up? How do you make them safe? And then what do you do if you're going to sort of block lead as well? With the rope, that can be a bit tricky, so we'll talk about a few things. So in a minute or two I'm going to cycle down to Lion Rock. You'll join me and the boy. Maybe he's getting ready to go. You can see he's just thinking, why on earth are we still here, still chatting about boring over trousers and stuff. And we'll have a chat through that at the crag with some setups, and I'll show you some stuff. Right, you join me at a different spot to normal, still at Lion Rock, but this is a bit called Pine Tree Walls. Went over to my normal spotty walls and there was a loud group there, so I didn't want them to disturb the video, so I've left them in peace and come over here. Great spot here, as most places are around here. I've built my belay out of rope, out of reach anchors. Said the point of the video is thinking about our second and what we do with them when we build our belay using something akin to this. Classic out of reach anchors. I've got myself safe, I've shouted that down. The next thing to do is to get my mate on belay using my Edinburgh Gigajoule, still really enjoying that. Just taking that into my imaginary climber, loading them up, got them on belay, shout, climb when ready, up they come. Right, when they get to me, how do we make them safe? If we had a sling set up, we'd probably have a master point for them to clip themselves into, just using a clovitch on their bit of rope probably, but we haven't got that this time. My master point is here. I don't really want someone particularly dangling on that, although that is an option I'll come on to in a second. If we're on a good ledge, a ledge where it's like you're going to have to try really hard to fall off sort of thing, then I'll just go for the simple option, grabbing a big bite of rope in the braking strand and just tying an overhand in it. Simple as that, right? I can let go, I can be hands free. We can swap the gear, off they go on the next pitch. That's fine on a big ledge. If they did slip off for whatever reason, they're not really going anywhere, they can just sort of pull back on, that kind of thing, sort of stand up. They haven't got to do anything really exciting. If we weren't on a good ledge, and there was the potential for slipping off it, I'm not so keen on this method, because under load there's not a lot, I can't really do a lot with it, I can't release it under load and that kind of thing. So it could be, though, I still think that tying them is a fine option, because they're relying on their sort of 2 feet first, but I want to give that extra little bit of sort of anti-faff really. I could tie off the belay plate, other videos on that, but a slippery hitch, and then get 1 or 2 half hitches in there. Belt and braces is 2, 1 is safe. Don't forget to encapsulate the braking strand as well, and it all goes around the back bar rather than the barrel, the weak part of the carabiner. So that's a bit better. Still, you know, they are on me, so if they do fall off, I'm getting pulled around quite a lot here, but I can release it under load, so I can lower them or do something should I need to, so perhaps that's an extra step better. However, I don't really want them particularly dangling on me, so if we're talking like hanging belay or virtually hanging belay, then I'm not so keen on those 2 methods. Again, like, they could clip into me, couldn't they, and be on this master point, because this is still a master point of sorts. It's just a bit uncomfortable, they're going to be a little bit below me, but it can work, right? The full belt and braces option, though, is the faffiest option. They're going to come up to me, we're on this sort of hanging belay, they're going to use fresh carabiners, and they're going to put 1 in each of my bits of kit and just replicate what I've done. It takes time, doesn't it? So it's not an efficient way of doing it. If they're leading on to the next pitch, or just alternating leads, which is pretty normal in the UK, then they'll put all their stuff like on top of my ropes, so we don't get twists and tangles and such like. If I'm going to lead again, then yeah, that's going to be mega faff, isn't it? Because they're going to have to do that option. They're going to have to go underneath, and then I peel off the top and on I go. If I am thinking of block leading, then I'm going to try really hard to avoid doing this setup. I'm going to use slings probably, okay? So why haven't I used slings here? Well, for the video mainly, but perhaps my gear is like too far apart to join with my long sling, or even if I was carrying a cordlet, which I might do if I was guiding and block leading. I've had to use the rope. This wouldn't be my system of choice, right? Got too much faff going on. What could I do instead? Well, I'd actually do something where it's much easier to sort of not be fully in the system. There's still some faff involved, right? And there's some thought required to go with it. So I'm just undoing myself, so we're going back a bit, I'd still be on belay. I get to the top of my pitch, I'm going to bring myself a bit of slack in here. I've done this method in other videos for like the fuller explanation. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a master point in the rope, so I'm going to give myself plenty of rope to do it with, and then making sure you take into account the angles and such like. You're going to just tie a big knot in the rope, okay? You could consider yourself safe enough doing this if you're on a nice ledge. If you're not on a nice ledge, I'd want to clip into that. So I could do that, do a clovitch, and then I'm like fully into my master point, he says, if you can do that up. So now I can lean back on that, that's all solid. My mate gets up to me, they clip themselves in there. However, if I want to lead again, all my end of the rope is taken up in the belay, isn't it? So what are our options there? Well, there's, again, as with most of these things, there's a bit of judgment involved, but perhaps this is where a lanyard is your friend. You can improvise this with a sling, of course, but the lanyard is sort of gold standard, isn't it? I'm going to put that, sort of going through both out of habit, just through the belay loop, pencil instructions on this one. Pull that through. I'd have this on already if I was intending to do this kind of thing. Sun's out at last, that's a rare sight in October in North Wales. This time though, what I can do, I can come up, I can build my belay, create this master point, and clip in with my lanyard, be it the pencil or anything else, use a self-locker on that one. Okay, get myself on that. I'd probably opt for a bit of guide mode action off the master point, because kind of why not? And then what do we do when my mate gets up, belay them up, guide mode, they come in, they get their lanyard, they clip into the master point, okay, and I want to lead again, but my rope's still in there, so what do we need to do? Well, we need to swap ends, and this is where there's a bit of, I say judgment, I'm not sure if it's the right word or not, but there's a bit of thought required, isn't there, because we're halfway up a route, you know, a long way above the ground potentially, and we're swapping ropes, which isn't necessarily a normal thing to do. So, you know, it's not unsafe, is it? As long as you're doing those buddy checks. My mate would take this end, I'd take their end, my end would be on top, off I go. You can actually get pretty slick with that, so it doesn't have to take long. It revolves around having a lanyard or an improvised one with a sling. I'd just rather have a nice Gucci Petzl style one. Other brands are available, of course. If we're block leading, I want to be thinking ahead of when I get to the belay, so I'm already planning on what to do, because there are different tactics involved. I'd probably go for the slings type stuff out of choice. It's not always possible. If not, I'm going to use the rope, but I'm going to think ahead and not do something where I'm fully integrated into the system. I hope that's useful. I do get that question a lot, so we've covered what to do with a second when they get to you, assuming you're kind of alternate leading, or what to do if the second gets to you if you're block leading. I keep saying we normally alternate in the UK. We just don't have lots of super long routes, so it's normally a few pitches, 3, 4, 5, something like that. So it's not like we're doing a 15 pitch route where it makes sense to do 5 each or something like that to get into the swing of it. So I hope that puts it into some context. Do fire away with any questions. As always, of course, you know, I'm happy to answer as best I can. Click the like button, smash the subscribe button, keep finding us on Insta and Facebook and all that stuff. The Insta is especially appreciated. The numbers are growing, so thanks ever so much for that. It's very much appreciated. As always though, thanks very much for watching. More videos coming up very soon.